Hey guys, let's talk about sharpening. Now unfortunately, I've already kind of sharpened this knife. As usual, because I don't have a person to film for me, I kind of filmed sharpening and then went back to watch it, and pretty much like 90% of it was out of focus. Go figure. So I'm going to do kind of a quick refilm and just kind of show you my knife sharpening technique and what I do. I'm going to kind of skip some of the actions here because I've already done them. The knife's already sharp. Our test blade here is going to be this old cold steel Finn Wolf. Now it's pretty rough. I've used it quite a bit, especially through hunting season and all that. So I haven't had a chance to really sit down and sharpen it. So I figured, since I got some time tonight, why not hit this thing up and make a video of it. Now originally I started with one of these older dual grit stones. Just kind of gave it a few runs through just to reset the edge there. Not much, maybe like 4 licks on each side just to get that bevel started again. Then I switched over to this cheap 1000, 3000 grit stone where I'm going to kind of demonstrate my technique. And I'm not saying I'm right, guys. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it at all. This is just kind of what I do and what works for me. So with my stones, I like to put a little water on them. As you can see, there's a little bit of a slurry built up on there from the sharpening I was doing. And I add a couple drops of Dawn dish soap. Kind of rub it in. And I think that works really good at, number one, preventing the stone from getting clogged and makes a much easier cleanup, but number two, it just makes really good lubrication. And it kind of cleans the knife too. You come out without, especially if you've been doing something, like cleaning an animal with it, that Dawn does help break down some of the grease and grime on it. Now, I know a lot of people tend to like to put the knife on and use their other hand to guide it. I'm not a fan of that. I feel like I push the knife down when I do that. I just don't seem to get good results. And that's part of this, figuring out what works for you. So what works for me is I always sharpen, and when I sharpen, I make sure I don't sharpen right to the very edge, because lots of times you have these little parts where the knife is thicker, and if you get too close to that, it can throw off your angle and you won't get a good sharpening. So when something like that, you know what, I give it maybe a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch or so away from that, so that I'm not so that I know that the edge is good and flat at that point. And and then plus you have a little bit of an edge that is not sharpened. That way if you do have to use it for a ferro rod or something like that, which you shouldn't, but you got a little bit of area there that's dull, so you don't have to worry about killing your knife. So I kind of establish my angle by feel, and I give it a test run. And what I'm looking for is that line, beginning to end. Show this pushing material, pushing the water and the soap from beginning to end. That tells me that I'm holding the knife evenly and that all parts of it are in contact with the stone. So once again, we've got a nice line. So I know I've got a good angle, so now what I'm going to start to do is make kind of a slicing motion, and I'm going to lift the knife a little bit as I get towards the tip to make sure I maintain that angle along the tip. Now that's something that takes a little bit of practice. And you notice how it leaves kind of a trail of material as you go, which that's basically the material from the knife coming off onto the stone and into your slurry. Now if you're running your stone dry, this is going to clog up your stone. But, just a little bit of water and a little bit of Dawn, and bada bing! You don't have to worry about it anymore. You're good and clean. That's why I like this. There's no harsh chemicals. There's nothing that will contaminate your food. If you're using it to prepare food, this is really good. Now, say if you are a bit of a beginner and you just can't get the slicing motion down, or maybe your knife's like a recurve or it has a strange belly and you're just having a little bit of problem with it, one thing you can also do to kind of help with that is just to take and sharpen your knife piece by piece. It's just to run it straight down. Same thing. Come to your other angle, find the right angle. You know, you're going to have to do a little bit of a weird jiu-jitsu move on the tip there to get that angle right and to slice in. Usually it involves kind of lifting and turning a little bit to get that right. Because you got to figure if you're 90 here, as you get here, you're off at a weird angle. You're going to want to be more like that as you do the tip. So it takes a little bit of a twist and all that to get it. But hey, if you're really inexperienced about it and you're really concerned about it, you can also kind of choke up on your knife a little bit so you can feel a little better and just draw it away. Find that edge, and even though you'll feel the friction, and draw it away. And just, you know, flip it to your other side. And do the same. You know, you can do that. I'm behind the camera here, so it makes it a little tough. But like I said, you'll notice, and I'm going to do this on purpose here. I'm going to miss the angle and hit the angle so you can hear the difference. So this is going to be one that's going to be too shallow. Here's one that's going to be just right. Too shallow. Just right. You can hear the difference in the stone. You will learn that with experience. So I just wanted to point that out. So of course what you're going to want to do is to get the knife nice and sharp. You're going to develop a burr on the edge, which is going to make your knife feel like not as sharp as it should be. And that's fine. It will, you can take, I'll show you how to take the burr off as well. Another technique I often do is kind of find that edge. And often what I'll do is take a very light circular motion on the edge. Very light. I kind of find that helps put a good final edge on it. It works for me. I don't always do it, but when you get a nice flat knife like this, it does seem to help that edge. But you can hear it. You can just hear when you hit it right. And it's not going to be perfect, guys. It's not, you know, even though I've been doing this my whole life, I still make mistakes. I still screw up. I still miss the angles and don't do a good job. It happens. Now this knife has a pretty good burr on it now, I can feel. So I'm going to show you how I take a burr off, which is pretty simple. I just take a sharpening steel, and you hear that? A lot of friction. That's the burr. Hear that? Now it's just skating across like nothing. When that friction's gone, that burr is reduced pretty drastically in size. So now from there, hopefully I can find a paper towel to dry this off. These little folding tables, you know what? They're not very sturdy, but man, are they convenient for doing videos, guys. I just gotta tell you that they just are great because you can just plop them up anywhere where you got some good lighting. So next we're gonna pull out the Mega Ghetto strop, put it on the edge of our table, and we're gonna strop this a little bit, guys. So we're gonna take it, once again, light pressure, finding that correct angle, pulling it away from you, kind of as you get to the end, kind of lifting and maintaining that angle. And once again, you're going to know that feeling, that friction when you're getting it right, when you're getting the angle right. You'll know. You'll start to feel it. You'll start to hear it. This leather is not a very good piece for the strop. It really doesn't seem to want to accept it. I think it might be a little too thick. I don't know. I don't know strops that well. You know, I was just used store-bought ones before this. Alright, let's see where we're at. Alright, we're quite a bit sharper. We're still not as sharp as I'd like to be. But, you know, videos can only be so long, guys. So, there it is. That's how I sharpen. You know, find yourself some good stones, work up in grit, and then take the burr off with a steel and a strop. So, there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed.